One of the best things about this time of year is cooking with pumpkins. My favorites are desserts. Sweet pumpkins today on Let's Cook. Hi, welcome to Let's Cook and welcome to Sweet Pumpkin. We're doing everything with pumpkins today. Let me go over the menu. I'm making a pumpkin Napoleon, a pumpkin roulade with a pepita crust, and then we're doing a pumpkin parfait. And the great thing about this menu is actually we're going to be making a pastry cream, and we can use that pastry cream for the Napoleon, for the roulade, and for the parfait, just by making a few adjustments. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how we make the pastry cream. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my milk. Now, I'm going to take the milk, but I'm going to leave a little bit of it out, just about 1/3 of it out. So I take my milk, that goes into my pan there. I'm going to start to heat the milk. Let me just get a spatula over here for a second. Now, to the milk, you can use, actually, you could use, if you'd like, this is plain pureed pumpkin, but if you wanted, you could use the pumpkin pie filling that's already seasoned in the supermarket. We put that in there, and we add our sugar to this. Now, what I'm going to do with this is just bring this up to a boil. So we're going to bring this up to a boil. Now, while that's heating, and once it starts to get a little hot so it doesn't scorch, you need to stay here and you have to stir, stir, stir. So, but until that heats up a little bit, next I have my cornstarch right here, and I'm going to take the cornstarch along with my eggs and mix them together. This way, I'll have most of my liquid heated, but the cornstarch and the eggs I'll add to this as it starts to get hot. Once it thickens up, it comes out right away, and I finish it with the sugar. Very important. So I get my one egg in there. I get my second egg in there. Beautiful. Mix the egg in there too. So that's good to go. And you'll see that this is a very fast process when you go to make this. So that's good to go. Now, coming over here, bring this up. Now, you can also already start to see the steam coming off of this. So once this comes up to boil without the egg, it's okay. But then once I add the cornstarch with the egg and the remaining milk, it's going to come up that much faster. Now, there's one thing that I could do when I'm making this if I wanted to, and that means I could take a little bit of this hot liquid and pour it into my egg mixture there, tempering it, which is a really good idea to do, and I think I'm going to do that. With that way my eggs won't scramble. Then I put it back in here, bring it up to simmer, and it's a done deal. So this looks, it's already starting to steam here, so I'm just going to beat my eggs here with my milk, temper this a little bit so we just get this a little warmed right there. Bring this back over here now. Now you see here my liquid here is boiling in the bottom of the pan, starting to boil there. Boil, boil, toil, and trouble. Halloween, love it. I just add this back to this now. Put that all in there. Now, this is where you don't leave it. This is where you become one with the pot. See how it's starting to tighten up there? It's like any pudding. It can scorch, it can burn. It's got the sugar, it's got the egg, it's got the cornstarch. You don't want to scramble this. Nice and tight that is. Beautiful, right? I now take this off the heat. I'm going to shut off my heat. And I'm just going to add a little bit of butter to this. Just a little bit of butter. Mix that butter in there. Now the butter is going to give it shine. It's going to give it flavor. That's good to go. This now comes out right into a porcelain dish here, nice and flat, so it can really cool down well. That's good. Spread this around. Now it's a very good idea at this point to take a little bit more butter, dot it on top of this. This is going to prevent it from getting a skin, and the butter will just melt right into the pastry cream. And then we cover this with plastic wrap and let the plastic wrap touch the pastry cream. That way it won't get a skin. So I'm going to do that, but before I get that in the refrigerator, there's one other thing I need to show you for the Napoleon. I have a nice sheet of puff pastry right here. Now what I'm going to do with the puff pastry is I'm just going to take it, and you can buy these in your frozen food section. I'm just going to brush this with a little bit of water. So we brush that with water. Then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sugar on this, just regular granulated sugar, just to make it a little sweet. Then we have to dock it. Think of Halloween. I don't know how docking ties in with Halloween. It really doesn't, but it's okay because I get a lot of questions about docking. Now, docking is where we just take and we mark the dough with a fork this way. And by marking with a fork this way, what ends up happening is as it bakes in the oven, it allows the steam or moisture to escape from the 1,000 layers that should be found in puff pastry, and it doesn't puff up too much. So we'll just take this, we'll dock this. I'm going to pop this in the oven, and I already have one done to show you. And I'm glad this happened to me because I'll show you how you can work with something like this and still get a great Napoleon. See what happened to this one here? See where it broke? It's okay because we'll be able to fix that when we make the Napoleon. It's sweet pumpkin today on Let's Cook. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we have sweet pumpkin today. That's my topic for the day, and everything contains pumpkin. As a matter of fact, in the first segment, we made our pumpkin pastry cream, which I have right here, which I'm just going to soften here a little bit. Almost looks like a pumpkin pie filling. So I've just taken that, put it in the refrigerator, let it firm up, and now I just soften it a little bit for the Napoleon. Next, I have my puff dough sheets here that I cooked. And you can see there's a crack in this one. The other one's broken. I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and work with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'll just take a little bit of my pumpkin pastry cream here. I'll put this right in the middle there. That works. Then with the offset spatula, and this is a good thing to have, I take an offset spatula like this because then I'm able to spread this ever so nicely. Now, when you come to the corner here, don't pick your spatula up because that could pick up the puff dough. You just need to brush it and kind of bring it back towards the middle. So there's my first layer. Now, I have two other layers here. Look, I'll tell you, it's definitely Halloween because things are a little crazy because this one broke here and this broke here. So I'm just going to take this, put this right here, put this piece right here. It doesn't have to be perfect. All righty. This goes right here. Now I spread this too. This is my glue, so to speak. See how we just kind of spread this? Now, when you go to do the top piece and you want a real smooth surface, need a little bit more right here, and you want a real nice smooth surface, let me just get a little bit more in here. So much fun working with pumpkins. Come right here. Now for the last piece, instead of putting the part that was up in the oven, I go ahead and I take this piece and I put this side down. This gives me a nice smooth surface right here. And we just kind of put this together right here, just like that. Now it's all held together. Now, what I'm going to need right now is I do need a rack for this because I'm going to put a little bit of fondant on this. And you do need a serrated knife for this. So I'll just take this carefully, bring it here, and I'll just clean up the edges right here. Let the knife do the work when you're doing this. Come over here. This side is actually okay right here, except for this little bit right here. My edges are fine. Now, you need to be careful with this because it is very fragile. So I'm just going to take this. Just kind of bring it right over here. Ever so gently. I'm going to bring this up on the board now. Now I have a little bit of, you could use fondant icing here. If you don't have fondant, you can actually use milk and powdered sugar and mix it together with a little vanilla till you have about this consistency right here. So that just kind of flows on the top there. Isn't that great? And what will end up happening is, just like if you, and a little lemon juice in there too if you wanted, okay, or egg white, it'll really get nice and hard on here. But before it gets nice and hard, see that little flake right there? I need to get rid of that flake. Before it gets really hard, you can add a little bit of food color to it. Have some mixed here that I add a little food color to. Now, I could show you how to make a pastry bag and pipe it with a pastry bag. But if you just pick this up and you have your spoon right here and you just kind of start it this way and you just kind of go that way and stop, doesn't have to be perfect. So I just bring it across that way. Then, with the tip of a knife or a bamboo skewer, look, you pull it this way, and you pull it that way. Pull it this way, pull it that way, and you have a beautiful pumpkin Napoleon there. Out of this world. Then, of course, we slide it onto plate. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, pumpkin roulade with pepita crust for sweet pumpkin. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we are talking sweet pumpkin. Now, I'm going to show you how to make a roulade. Now, basically, a roulade does not contain fat except for the eggs that are in it. So what I've done is I've taken about half a cup of sugar with some egg yolks, and I've whipped them here so that I have this consistency right here, where I get a ribboning effect in the bowl right there where it falls away and it ribbons. So this is step number one, because making a roulade is more technique than anything else, because you don't want to deflate your roulade. So I'll take my egg yolks with a little bit of sugar right there, put this in here. Now over here, I have some egg whites. And what I'm doing with these egg whites is I'm going to whip them until they form soft peaks with about 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So I'll take this off right here, and you're going to see right here, see how they're almost forming soft peaks. They're almost there, but this will still work. So what I do is I take, a third of this right here. I mix that with the egg yolks. Let's just get this out of the way here. Now, what I'm going to do now is here we don't fold. Here we get aggressive. So all I'm going to do right now is, using my rubber spatula, come here, fold these together. Now, my next step is I have some flour and cornstarch, 3/4 of a cup of cake flour and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. We now sift this into 1/3 of our egg whites with my egg yolks, both having been whipped separately. Again, we get aggressive here. So all I'm going to do is now get this wet and dry mixture that's a little dry right here, and I'm going to mix this together until all of the flour and cornstarch are absorbed. We're going to lose some of our air here, but that's okay because we have more air in our egg whites. So once I get to this point right here, where it looks like a nice tight cake batter, doesn't it? Out of this world. Now I need to incorporate some more of that egg and the sweetness of my whites. Come over here. I add the remainder of my whites here. So you can see there's no fat in this at all. Right here. Put this on the side. Now here's where we fold. Here's where I come underneath. I come underneath. I turn the bowl. I only go in one direction. And I just fold them together until I have no white at all. So we're just going to continue to fold this. Once my white disappears, out of this world. Come right here. Now, I'm ready to go ahead and spread this out. It's a good idea to have an offset metal spatula to spread this out with because it really comes in handy. You can use a rubber spatula. So now, this pan that I have right here, what I did is I lined it with parchment paper. I sprayed the parchment paper with a little bit of bake spray, the oil in a can. Then I dusted it with flour. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to spread this nice and evenly this way, to all our corners. When I bring the spatula back here, I'm going to go like that, bring it over here, just stop doing what I'm doing, and I spread this around this way. Now, you're going to bake this in a 350 to 375 degree oven, making sure it's nice and smooth like this for about 12 to 15 minutes. Let me show you what it looks like when it comes out, because I already have one done here. Now, when it comes out and it looks like this, you have a crust here. See that crust? What you need to do is allow this crust or the cake to cool down a little bit, and then you can break it and you can rub it off, and this is what it ends up looking like. See how this looks right here where I've taken it, I've rubbed it off. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to put this over here to cool. And by the way, you can make this the day before. I need to stuff this with my pumpkin pastry cream that we made, but I want to take a little break right now. And then when we come back, I can show you how to finish it all together. Okay, plus I have a pumpkin parfait that we're going to put together as well. Out of this world. Don't go anywhere. It's Sweet Pumpkin today on Let's Cook. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook Sweet Pumpkin. Now, I showed you how to make the roulade. Now I need to show you how to make the crust, because the crust for this, it's a pepita seed crust. So right here, I have equal quantities of finely ground, dry roasted, non-salted pepita seeds that I just chopped in a food processor with an equal amount of sugar. I mix this together. It's so easy. See how nice that is? Beautiful, because you need that sweetness. Now, I'm going to leave that right there because I'm going to use that in a minute. Next, I have my roulade here that I made. I'm going to now take my roulade. I'm going to just break this over. This comes off this way. Okay? Then we're just going to take the parchment paper off of this as well. Because we want, now this is the inside, we want the nice side going out. Now it's a good idea to take this parchment paper and kind of save it, okay? So I'm just going to bring it over here, put my roulade right back on top of it. That way I can use a paper to roll it up. That's good. Now, next, I have a little bit of peach brandy here that I'm going to brush on this roulade. Just brush this peach brandy right here. Soak that up. Now you can see my oven here. My oven's a little inconsistent by the browning I have here, but once I have this roulade made, it's definitely going to work. Next, I took some of our pumpkin pastry cream along with a little bit of lightly whipped unsweetened cream right in the middle here. We're going to go right here now. Look, see, right here. Now, I'm not going to bring it right to the edge here. And then with my spatula, I'm going to bring it over here, but not all the way to the end. Bring it here, here. Make sure that's well covered. Now I have to roll this. Now to roll this, you have the parchment paper. I'm just going to fold this over here. So it's about a third. Then I'm just going to take and pull this across this way so I get a nice jelly roll right here. This is beautiful. Okay, great. Now, next thing I need to do is I do need to take the outside here and brush it again with the brandy, peach brandy. Just brush that right here. And then I'm going to bring this over here, pick this up right here, take this, roll it right into this, and roll it off. And that's how I get it crusted nicely. At the end here, where's my serrated knife here? There we go. At the end, before you go to serve this, though, you do need to cut off that rough end. But this is absolutely delicious and gorgeous, especially if you set it up in the refrigerator and let that set. Last but not least here, I have a little bit of a pumpkin parfait I'm going to make with the same thing. My pumpkin pastry cream that we made earlier. Drop that down in there. Rice Krispies. You can buy the crunchy kind or whatever, but we do need a little bit of crunch there. A little bit, and this goes really good with the pumpkin, a little bit of mango sorbet. Drop that in there. And by the way, you can make this ahead of time and you can freeze this too. So we're going to get that in there. Okay, a little bit more Rice Krispies here. I love parfaits. A little bit here of whipped cream. Now, I guarantee you, I know you're seeing some drips on this glass, but that's okay. It's a very deep glass. By the time I turn it around to the side, you're going to see it's going to be beautiful. A little bit more pumpkin mousse in there. A little bit more Rice Krispie. A little bit more mango sorbet. You know, the fun thing about Halloween is you get to play with pumpkins, whether you carve them or you bake with them, but you definitely also get to have a lot of fun. A little bit of whipped cream on top here. Then I have some more ground pumpkin seeds or pepita seeds right here with a little bit of brown sugar. Kind of sprinkle that on top there. Finishing it with a little bit more of my pumpkin pastry cream. Oh, pastry cream is out of this world. This Napoleon we made earlier in the show, in the very segment of the show, is out of this world. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and get a little taste over here of my roulade as well. Pumpkins are great, but they're really good when they're sweet. Thanks for watching Cook. You have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.